All right, so here is our simplifying radical expressions notes. So this is a chapter that a lot of students struggle with, but is so essential for Algebra 2, for geometry, and for other maths that you're going to take in the future, but especially those two. So I find this very beneficial for us to go over how to do this, and also just to get you ready for geometry next year. All right, so here are the steps. So first step when we're simplifying radicals is to find the prime factors. Okay, so prime, if you remember what this means, is just basically any number that is only divisible by itself in 1. So for example, 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number, 5 is a prime number, 7, and so forth and so on. So anything that can't be broken down, like 6 can be broken down between 2 and 3. So we're just basically trying to divide this by the smallest prime numbers, and then we'll keep going up and up and up and up until we have all of the factors that make up 72. Okay, so 72 broken up into the smallest form. I'll explain how to do that. So then after we do that, we're going to list them underneath the radical, and I like using the little tree method. I feel like it's easier to see. We're going to circle our pairs, and whatever does not have a match stays under the radical. So the pairs are going to, I'm going to add this. The pairs are going to go outside the radical, while the ones that don't have a match are going to stay under. So let me just go through the first example, because I can talk through this all day, but when you see it, it'll make more sense. So we're going to take the smallest number that I can divide this by besides 1. Okay, so let's start with 2. So I'll always put that small number on this side. So 72, I'm going to put in my calculator, 72 divided by 2. And some of y'all may already know what this is off the top of your head, but I would just go ahead and put, okay, what's 72 divided by 2 in your calculator? Okay, 2 is 36. Then I can see this is an even number, so I'm going to keep dividing by 2. So you're going to keep dividing by that smallest number, the smallest prime number, until you can't anymore, until you get decimals. So this is 2 and 18. This is 2 and 9. Okay, can I divide 9 by 2 and not get a decimal? No, I can't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the next prime number, which is 3. Okay, so I'm going to take 9, I'm going to divide it by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So that's how it can be broken up. So if I went back, right, and I multiplied 3 times 3 times 2 times 2 times 2, okay, they should all give me 72. Okay, so at this point, you're ignoring these numbers and just looking at kind of the numbers on the outside. Okay, so we're going to look at these numbers on the outside, and we're going to go to the next. So we already listed them under the radical. Now I'm going to circle the pairs. Okay, so I can see, all right, I have a pair here, and I have a pair over here. So if you think about it, kind of what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out, okay, where are my perfect squares that are inside, consist inside 72. Okay, I have a perfect square of 2 times 2 and a perfect square of 3 times 3. All right, so when I do this, another way of rewriting this, right, this 72 would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Okay, and again, put that on your calculator, it should give you 72 if you did this right. All right, and the whole thing is, right, if I have 4, the square root of 4 is 2, so I can take it out. If I have the square root of, let's take our other pair, 9, take the square root of 9, that's 3. Okay, so that's what we are doing when we are saying we can pull these pairs out, okay, one of these pairs out. We can basically just, okay, I'm going to take the square root of 4, it's 2, so they can go on the outside. And I can take the square root of 9, which is 3. Then whatever's left over, whatever's not circled, is going to stay underneath the radical. Okay? So I simplify this radical by doing 2 times 3, so that's 6. 6 square root of 2 is the same thing as 7 square root of 72. Okay, so I simplified that radical. All of this is not necessary, right? I'm going to take one of the pairs, put it on the outside, take one of the pairs, put it on the outside. Whatever's left over, I'm leaving inside. Okay, but I just want to kind of show you how this worked and why we're able to do that. All right, and then, so if you also want a good way to check yourself, is also putting the square root of 72 in your calculator. If you put that in your calculator, it'll give you some decimal. And then if you put 6 square root of 2 in your calculator, it should be the same thing if you did this correct. So if you want to pause the video and say Miss Garner's crazy if she's saying that these two things are equal, and you want to double check and see, okay, is Miss Garner right? All right, you can do that. Pause the video, put the square root of 72 as well as 6 square root of 2 in your calculator, and you should get the same thing. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next example. All right, so we're going to, again, list out our factors. We're going to start with 2. This is an even number, so we can kind of assume, right, it should be divisible by 2. So I'm going to do 128 divided by 2, and that's 64. All right, then this is even number. I'm going to keep dividing by 2. All right, that's 32. Keep dividing by 2. $16. Again, keep dividing by 2 till you cannot any longer. And if I keep going, oh gosh, I can't really see that, but that should be, man, I wish I had saved some room at this point. Okay, but this is broken up between 2 and 2. I'll kind of stick it over the side, 2 and 2 over here. All right, so we can start circling our pairs. I'm going to start over here. I have one pair right here, one pair right here, and then I have one pair right here, okay, and I have one that's kind of left over by itself. Sorry if this 2 is messing up. I have a 2 times 4 and then a 2 times 2 over here. All right, so I'm going to take 1, 2 from out the outside. So one of them is going to go out here. And then I'm going to take another one of these 2s. And then I'm going to take another one of these 2s. And then whatever's left over, which was just this little 2 by itself, is going to stay inside my radical. All right? So 2 times 2 times 2 will give me 2 times 2, which is 4. 4 times 2, which is 8. So 8 square root of 2 is square root of 128 simplified. Okay, so these should be the same thing. Okay, and if you want to double check, put the square root of 128 in your calculator as well as putting 8 square root of 2. See if you get the same thing. That means that'd be a good way to check us. I'm going to kind of write this work because I feel bad about this this last part. I'm going to kind of just do it again for you, writing it out over here, just so it's a little easier just for you to see what we did when we got towards the end. Okay, so when you see this, we have a bunch of 2s over here. So I circle my pairs, 1, 2, 3. So I take 1, 2 out, 1, 2 out, 1, 2 out. Whatever's left over stays inside my radical. All right, let's go on to the third example. All right, again, this is an even number. So 2 is a safe number to divide by. So I'm going to do 26 divided by 2. Okay, and that is 13. And notice, I don't know if you remember this, but 13 is a prime number. So there's nothing really more I can do. I don't have any pairs that I can pull out. So at this point, I would just say, okay, I don't have any pairs, so the square root of 26 is as good as it's going to get. Right? I'm going to, again, multiply. Whatever I have left over, I'm going to multiply inside. Right now, the only thing I have left over is 2 and 13. So this wasn't the best example. I should have picked a different example, but we'll do some more at the bottom of the paper. And that's good to know too, is that some of these you can't simplify. Okay, and so you just want to leave it. This is the simplest format this radical can stay at. Okay, so let's go on to the square root of 136. Okay, we know that this is even, so I'm going to divide by 2. So 2 times 68 would give me 136. I'm going to divide by 2 again. And that's 34. Divide by 2 again. and that's 17. Okay, so we're at a point where 17 is a prime number, all right? And I have a pair right here. So I know to take one of these 2's out on the outside. And then whatever's left over, which is this 2 and 17, I'm going to leave multiplied inside my radical. Excuse me. All right, so 2 times 17 we can know is 34. So 2 square root of 34 is my answer. Okay, so we should go back and we should look, okay, again, put in your calculator square root of 136 and put 2 times the square root of 34. That should be the same thing. All right, let's move on to 45. All right, can I divide this one by 2? No, I can't. So let's go to the next highest prime number, which is 3. All right, so we'll do 45 divided by 3. That's 15. Then we know, okay, 15 is also divisible by 3. Okay, oh, good. All right, we have a pair here. So that's going to go, one of those is going to go on the outside. And then my 5 is left over, so it's going to stay on the inside. So these two things should mean the same thing. Okay? All right, if you want to pause the video and try these last 3, I would be happy. That would actually be a really good thing for you to do. And then I'll go over it. All right, awesome. So you should be done with those. Again, I'm going to start with dividing by 2. If I divide this by 2, it should be 90. If I divide 90 by 2, it should be 45. I can't divide 45 by anything else, but I can kind of follow the same model that I did over here. Okay, I know it's divisible by 3. All right, and I know it's divisible by 3 again. All right, and 5 is my prime number, so I'm done. All right, so I'm going to circle my pairs, 2 2's, and I have 2 3's. So I'm going to take one of these 2's and put it out here. Take one of these 3's, bring it outside my radical, and then whatever's left over, which is this 5, I'm going to keep underneath. So 2 times 3 is 6, and then 6 squared root of 5 is the same thing as the square root of 180. So with that said, if you, that would always be a good way to check, right? And so just make sure you always do that, and then also make sure you're multiplying and not adding here. A lot of people make that mistake, so make sure we're just multiplying what's on the outside. This is A2. All right, going over this one. So we know this is divisible by 2 because that's even. It's an even number. 162 divided by 2 is 81. Ooh, and we know 81 is divisible by something, but let's just go to the next lowest number that it can be divisible by, which is 3. And so we have 3 here. This is 27. Divide this by 3. This is 9. And then we have 3 and 3. All right, so pairs, we don't have any pairs of 2, so we're just going to leave that alone. We do have 2 pairs of 3's. So we're circling our pairs again. Whatever's left over stays underneath the radical. And then we're going to take 1 3 from each of our pairs. All right, and then 2 is going to go on the inside. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 squared root of 2 should be the same thing. And if you get to this point and you know, okay, the square root of 81 is 9. All right, I'm cool with you breaking this up between 9 and 9 and then circling that pair there and taking that out. But if, again, this would be kind of the method that for sure works. So if you didn't catch the 9 times 9 thing, don't worry about it. Just keep dividing by the smallest prime number. All right, let's move on to this one. All right, 2. All right, so this is 147 and 2. Okay, let's see. 147, I don't think is divisible by 2. No. So we got to go to the next number. Let's try 3. All right, yeah, it's divisible by 3. So we'll have 3 and 49. All right, and then we'll keep going. 49 is divisible by 4 or by 5. No. Right, we can pretty much make that assumption. Is it divisible by, well, first of all, is it divisible by 3? No, it's not divisible by 3. Is it divisible by 5, no. So the next one is 7. Let's see if it's divisible by 7. Yes, so 7 times 7. All right, so our prime number, our final, all of our prime numbers are these. So I'm going to circle my pair here, and then whatever's left over is going to stay on the inside. One of these 7s is going to go on the outside, and then we'll have 2 times 3, 7, square root of 6 is square root of 129 simplified. All right, so hopefully that was that should be pretty easy for you guys. I think it's actually really fun. Math is really fun. So I think once you get the hang of it, this will be something that you just want to do in your free time, you know, with all this free time with Corona. So, but really, if y'all have any questions or need any help, just let me know and I'll be happy to help you. So I hope you guys are doing well. See y'all soon. Bye.